Come, nephew.
Wow, I've made it. I made it. I've officially made it. I need to take a screenshot. Hold on. I've opened Uncle Eddie. That's it. I can relax now. I've done it all. I've done it. How you,
Good to see you. Good to see you,
you
man.
too, Uncle. You
I love
too.
that growth, man. You've just, hey, that's a good growth, man.
Do you know what? Yeah, I don't mind my hair. Like sometimes I have to cut my hair to appease people around me. Like I really don't mind. So when the barbers went on COVID strike, it was like, oh well.
Listen, just the other day, you know what I mean?
Mm.
My wife was like, "So you growing your beard?" I'm like, "Babe,"
You know that question, isn't it?
she was liking it when I had it all clipped, but I just had this little thing here. She was liking it. She was, "You're growing everything back again." I'm like, "Babe, it's
Yeah.
winter. Just allow me my little winter growth. Just allow me my little winter growth, man." So learning to live with no.
Yeah.
What's been your journey with learning to live with no?
It's been extremely interesting. First of all, I was a computer engineer for a while and decided I wanted to act. So I went into acting.
Mm-hmm.
Now acting is the world of no,
Yeah.
right? Until or if by God's grace you make it to
Mm-hmm.
a certain level,
Mm-hmm.
acting is the world of no. It
Mm-hmm.
is this is your like if you're fortunate enough to audition every day, this is
Mm-hmm.
your day.
Mm-hmm.
Off you go. No, 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 no. Yes. Ah! No, 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 no. Right? So you have to kind of grow a thick skin. And what I learned is that I'm just gonna go to the audition. I'm gonna do my piece. I'm gonna give you a piece of me, and you like me, you don't like me, but you work that out. So once I leave the audition room, the audition disappears.
Mm-hmm.
Then I started representing actors as well, and that's what I would teach them. But it's easier to say than to do, especially it's a really big role. Like, I remember that's been my process, and then I get called in for to audition for Homeland. Like my agent at the time didn't know what it was, so she said like some Homeland or something like that, and I was like, oh, that sounds like Homeland. That must be interesting. Rushed home. You had to sign the NDA before they would send it over, and it was like Homeland. Oh. So I went like that, and the more it does that to you, the harder it is to let go of it. But you have to and let go. Um, what I realized for me is that every no, and I'm wondering if if this is secretly the case for everybody. Every single no, just like it hit, like, it was like what are they called? Like a domino effect onto the last no and the previous no and the previous no back to the first no, and I was feeling pain of the first no without no in it. See what I did there?
That's
No. But so for me, my journey with no began at my dad's not wanting to be involved. So it was that rejection. And what I didn't realize is that every time I was rejected after that, and every time there was a no, it was really knocking away, eating away at that pain. So only later on in adult life that I got to realize that. And it's like, oh, but that freed me a lot. Just going, well, like knowing myself, and knowing that that's what was happening, gave me other options about how I can perceive it.
How did you remember your value, having received so many no's?
Right.
What were your mechanisms for remembering?
Do you know what it is? It's the gospel. It is. I think the gospel is following Christ, and I think a lot of churches, I'd even say most, are failing us because we're not really preaching the gospel and then discipling people afterwards. When you get journey with Jesus, and gets work out, like your whole value system changes. Like you realize that what the vast majority of people call value, Jesus doesn't call value. So then those no's were softer because it's like, I think so a more recent rejection. I remember going to this church, visiting the church, and then being invited to a Bible study at one of the parishioners' house, congregation, whatever. And so I've gone along, and like the person who was leading it was kind of struggling to get people to be like to be the main sharer. And so like a conversation came up about purpose. And it all kind of went a bit weird. And I thought, well, let me share something. So I shared evangelism the way Jesus did it, and the Great Commission. And in my mind, I was like, yo, this, because like, you know, like Uncle Eddie's a pastor, so he understands at least at this level. When you're doing the work, like you're in the word, you're like, yeah, we can say that, and that's dope, and that's really, that's a perfect way to explain it. And like you start to feel yourself a bit incorrectly, but you're like, yeah. And so I had an image of, you know, like it's kind of, I would go and I'd share this word and they'd all go, yes, let's all go out and evangelize now. And of course, it didn't really go like that. What it went like was, how are we supposed to do that? And no, and you can't tell people, and like the whole study went mad. And I left there like, God, like, what? Like, you told me to do that, and I did it. And everyone said, and I felt like, I was literally, I was hurt. I weren't sure what kind of decision I was even going to make about my faith after that. I'm like, God, I heard from you. You said, come and preach the word. I went and preached the word, and they mauled me. And then like I'm reading through, and it was like, you know, they hated me, so they'll hate you. Like when you say you say the things you know, then you blessed are they that blessed that, you know, and pray for those who spitefully misuse you. And I was like, oh, this is good. They rejected me like they rejected you, and it was all beautiful again. So it's like it really depends on what no means to you.
Yeah. You realize that there's more than just you. You know
as well. And then you see even in what you were doing well, you see where you was like, why are you looking at yourself like how amazing you were going to look saying this stuff, Darren? But I think the main thing is that I think you said it as well not long ago. Sometimes no is the yes that you need to hear, or something like that.
Sometimes no is the yes that you need.
It's like when you're dealing with people with a different value system to you, yes is no is good. Like not being in alignment, in agreement with them is good sometimes.
Sometimes, you know, sometimes people will say, nah, I don't like the idea, but I actually like you. So get the idea, but you come join us. And sometimes you're presenting an idea, and you know the person you're presenting it to says, nah, that don't work, but I actually like the way you think. So you want to come and work with us? And if you can get past yourself and say, well, no, I'm not coming without my idea.
Right. See, and if you're wise, you go, I'll come and work with you. You kind of just rejig your idea a little bit, like put the front on the end and the middle at the back. Go, hey, look. They're like, Darren, that's the same idea. Don't do that. Ashley, I think another thing.
Ashley just jumped back in and said, when no is actually protecting your progress. Because you think that in a certain direction, and no just comes there, and it's actually it's a protection, like a kind of draw breaks. But sorry, go on. You was going to say.
No, I was going to say, as a nation, we've been primed that yes is good and no is bad. And actually, a lot of the time, yes is bad and no is good. No is like you can bank on no. No, it's no. Yes isn't always yes. So you got what's it? Counterfeit yes, confirmational yes, and then maybe a genuine yes. A lot of the time we don't know which one we're hearing. So sometimes even that, so it might sound like this: Uncle Eddie, can you borrow me $1,000? Yeah. Right? He said yes. He was like, I don't want to borrow him $1,000. Okay, if you say no now, he's going to get on you and just say yes. We'll do that later. Counterfeit yes, it was actually no. So I actually learned this from a guy called Chris Voss. He used to be FBI negotiator. Actually, for the book list, for people, I know we've got some readers in here, he's got a book called Never Split the Difference about negotiation. And what we can sometimes do is look for the no instead. So don't ask you, have you got time? Ask you, would it be unreasonable for me to ask you for a moment? You can have a moment, look at that. But when we go for the yes, people feel set up a lot of the time. So we should maybe just get a, and I think it's just what is a relationship with no? And for me, it was dad said no, I don't want you, and off he went. And so everything no took that bill.
Ashley said, could you put the name of the author in again? Seeing as you mentioned, dad said no. How as a son, and then as a man, have you learned to live with that no, and find and reestablish your value and your strength and your identity as a man yourself?
Do you know what? It's funny.
Or is it still a work process?
No. Like, I mean, it always is until you die, right? Because you're always learning. But like, I'm pretty cool with it now. Like, I'm just laughing because, I used to, although my dad wasn't really, he didn't really stick around. I used to bump into him quite frequently. So like, he used to drive buses. So, oh look, one of my brothers just jumped into the chat. He's about to start laughing. I'm telling you. When I start telling these stories, Graver, Wagwan. First of all, my dad would do this thing, yeah. Like he would come around at Christmas with like, and like he would do like a black black Santa Claus thing, yeah. And he would come around like he would basically get a bin liner and just load it up with like presents, like outdated presents. And he would just make runs. Look, my brother's laughing. He'd make runs. And he'd like, I'm not sure if you remember like the days of like the click suits and the cut up jeans and them thing there. Of course you do. Yes. But we had gone to straights now. It was the straights era. So one Christmas he comes along with like a major damage suit, and it's like, what am I meant to do with that? But I used to bump into him on the buses. Sometimes he wouldn't recognize me. Madness. Wow. Imagine imagine like you have to deal with this man doesn't know who I am. Okay, I guess I better pay then. And then he realizes, but there was this particular time, I was married at the time, and my wife was expecting. I'm rushing home late. She's got her, I think it was her first scan. Can't be late for the first scan. So I'm rushing home, and then I've jumped on the bus, and he's on the bus. And so we're talking for a bit, and like he opens up. You know, you've got the bit that separates the door, so you can come and go at the same time. Yeah. This girl gets on the bus, but rather than going that bit that was free, she kind of squeezes past me, and off she goes. And obviously, she's just trying to peacock a little bit, let it be known that she's beautiful, and she thinks I'm beautiful, and I should say something. But I'm a married man, and I'm on the way to see my son for the very first time before she arrived. Yeah. My dad's bending his neck, and he's like, "You sure you're married, Darren?" And in that moment, I realized like just how screwed up I would have been if he was around.
Oh, damn.
Just what value system I would have. I'm like, dude, I literally just told you, like. What? So that helped me a bit, just realizing that although I come off from like, yo, nobody taught me this, nobody taught me how to be a man, nobody taught me how to be a father, and all of those things that I, by God's grace, worked through and still work through to some extent. I just know that I'd be in a lot worse of a situation in my tutelage.
Yeah.
Like,
and you actually realize in that moment how much, although I've come from you, how much of you is not in me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Although
because he didn't get the opportunity to put it in me.
Of you, I choose to refuse to actually live in, if that makes sense. How much of you that is me, I refuse to actually live within that reality. That I say no to. You know what I mean?
Exactly. So no becomes your power as well.
Yeah, and learning to live with that no has also actually been empowering. It has actually been empowering.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
I love that we've done. Thank you for finally jumping on, man. Thank you for finally jumping.
Thank you. That's
So
good. Thanks for having me, man.
what do you say to people from your journey then? You know what I mean? Especially with acting and having to live with 1,000 no's before you get one yes back to 1,000 no's. What do you say to anybody who's just struggling with hearing no, and it's toll. The hearing no is taking its toll on their sense of self-worth and their sense of value. What do you say to them?
What I'd say is, I think you need to explore what no means to you. What, again, I think you said it perfectly. What you think no is saying about you and your worth, and I think ultimately what has happened is we've made some arbitrary idea of ours more important than our reality, like who we really are. So it's kind of like, if I book that role on Homeland, then I'm going to be super famous and I'll be established and then be able to be a great actor. And we apply worth to these things. I think it's good to know that millionaires dangle from their chandeliers as well. Like the thing that we think is happiness, like people who have it are not satisfied. I think obviously being a Christian, it gets easier because those things just illustrate what Jesus is telling me in the scriptures. And so it makes it easier for me to accept if I see it in real life as well. But I think ultimately, what do you think you stand to benefit from the yes that you want? What people can do. I think if I hear yes, every problem is going to disappear. And you know what? That's not what's going to happen.
Yeah. That's fool's gold. That's actually fool's gold. You know what I mean? You know. No, I appreciate that. I really do appreciate that. You know. Truly do appreciate that. Oh look, you're taking me right down to 2 minutes, man. You're taking me down to...
man. You know what? I got a habit. I talk so much.
I'm only gonna do 60 minutes with this. I said I was only gonna do 60 minutes with this.
60 more.
I got 15 more minutes. Yeah, we got 15 more minutes. We'll do 15 more minutes. So let me lock this off. And,
nice one.
No, yeah, we'll finish this off together. But I really do appreciate. You sharing that journey as well. Thank you for sharing some of your story. Business. I appreciate it.